Joe, thank you very much for the introduction. As Joe had mentioned, my name is Jason Clark with BigSystems, and I am one of the 3D techs here. And today I'm going to be going over Markforged Eiger Software, which is the slicer for their 3D printing systems. So first I want to begin with importing our STL file. So we simply click Import, select our file, which we're going to be using a desktop cell phone stand today, and import. So as you can see, we've brought in our cell phone stand, and the orientation that you would probably see this in would be like this, sitting on your desk. I like to start with our settings tab and begin by choosing my resolution. Let's go ahead. I'm going to start with 0.100 of a millimeter and slice our file. So what that will give us is our part details here on the left-hand side of the screen. It'll show us our print time, our final part mass, our plastic volume, as well as our material cost. So 8 hours and 11 minutes in this orientation here, with a material cost of $8.46. So one thing I can see here when I'm looking at my part is that it is not touching the build plate at the back side of the stand. So what the slicer is going to want to do when we take a look at our internal view is it's going to want to place support material on the areas of overhangs that might cause problems in printing. And those support material are identified by these purple sections here. We can also look at this build layer by layer as we scroll across our build bar here to our completed piece. So let's return to our part view and see if we can eliminate these support structures. One thing I notice is that it's kind of flat here on the left and right sides. So what I'm going to go ahead is I'm going to click this surface, face it down to the build plate. And by resaving my file, it'll reprocess for us. And again, give us our revised print time, part mass, plastic volume, and material cost. So we'll go ahead and change our resolution to 0.2, which is going to be a higher, a larger layer height. Since we're just doing a cell phone stand, we don't need a ton of structure in there and strength. So as we see now, we're at 3 hours, 38 minutes, and we've got a final part mass of 29.16 grams with 24.71 cc's of material and $5.87 for our cost. And if we look at our internal view now, we've gone ahead and we've eliminated the support material. It's no longer needed in this orientation. So one thing that we can do on our Mark II of the desktop series is we can go ahead and make sure that we're using the correct material, which is our onyx. And reinforcing, we're not going to need any. And as we look at our settings here, all right, we can use items like a brim, which would help adhesion to the build plate if needed. And for this part, I don't think we're going to need it. We also have options for turbo infill and turbo supports, which can also help decrease print times. So as we kind of scroll through our menus here, another thing we can influence is the type of infill that we use. So different infills will allow us different percentages of infill. So right now with our rectangular pattern, we can go anywhere from 0 to 92%. And you see that we have a couple warnings here that triangular infill is recommended for optimal dimensional accuracy and strength to weight. And with the current infill, rectangular, it's recommended that we use a 50% infill. So as we hit our 50%, we're down to one warning, but we're going to go ahead and remain with triangular and our 37%. Okay. Now back to our part view, and we're going to make sure that we have our printer ready to go. So this is our Mark II that we're going to be printing on today. We do also have the option, if we did need to add structure to our part, we could go ahead and add continuous carbon fiber reinforcing. So if we go ahead and save our part, and then once we have it completely sliced, we can go ahead and pop into our internal view. And what that's going to show us is where Eiger suggests that we lay continuous carbon fiber. So if you look here on the left of the slider bar, I have this small area of blue here, which is representing continuous carbon fiber. And also on our top side of the print, continuous carbon fiber again. And this will contribute to strength and durability of our product. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send this over to our Mark II. And what this does is create our build plate. If I wanted to add a part to our build, it's pretty simple as just click our Add Parts button. We can go ahead and select another part from our library here. And here we have this little spline gear, and here what it's telling me is that I have conflicting layer heights, so it won't allow me to do that. So what we would do is just make sure that all of our parts are of equal layer height. And let's see, let's go ahead. When we're at our 20, we'll go ahead and we're going to send it right over to our printer now, which we will show you a time lapse of our build as it's in progress. And once you have your build plate complete, it's as simple as just clicking print, and there it goes, off to our machine. And we have a screen here for our devices, which will let us monitor our build. All right, thank you very much.